With the information and history you know, how do you stay? I don't know how to say it, but motivated to not stop trying slash moving forward. Most people throughout most of history have had harder lives than we do now, have faced greater injustices, and have had better reason to imagine the world ending, you know? From Genghis Khan, the fall of Rome, World War II, whatever. Like, for most of human history, a bad winter could kill your whole family, you know? We live with more comfort than that now. Even the poorest people today in America, for the most part, aren't living on that kind of razor's edge, you know? If you're homeless, perhaps, but for the most part, like, you know, if you're watching this, certainly if you're donating, you have better guarantees to the future than even well-to-do people 100, 150 years ago, you know? So I'm not saying that none of this is meant to like minimize the suffering. What I'm saying is they kept trying. So we should too. People moved out westward, even though like a third of them died of dysentery or whatever, you know, Oregon Trail. People kept reproducing, finding love, putting the work in, so on, no matter how hard life got. We should do the same. I think it's just a little bit more difficult to think of things in that terms because we have a more scaled out perspective than we ever have before. Like, if you were a feudal peasant, your life was your farm. You know, if you were a serf, your life was your farm and taking care of the farm and maybe like some of the stuff going down at the local village, you know, maybe the people you love, your family, but your life is small. And sometimes you hear word, you go down to the village and you hear like, oh, 3 months ago, did you know that the king died and was replaced with his son? Yes, they say that his son is a cruel man and will treat us most fearsomely. And then you're like, oh, that sucks. Then you go back to the farm. Your life in that time was smaller. But nowadays, you go online and you're like, oh, here's literally all news everywhere. And I think that it can make people feel overwhelmed and it can make people feel like, oh, well, how do you keep on going in the face of this? And there's good things. You can still go out and get a slice of pizza. There's still stuff to fight for. Try to keep the scale of your life and how you think of your life proportionate. You know, that's all I can say.